Hi BookTube, it's Missy, and today I'm here to share with you guys my June wrap-up for 2019. This is my 5th attempt at doing this video. I've already trashed a whole 25-minute video before this. Yeah, I'm having a hard time today. Sometimes when you're gone for a long period of time, you don't think you sound proper. There's too many, mini thought farts. That's not even the right word. But my head is not here. I feel like dumb. I feel dumb. Like I'm perfectly fine talking to the camera. I have no problems with that. The problem is that's not even a word. Am I coherent? Am I making any sense? Do I sound stupid? Those are my 3 criteria that I want to make sure I get a handle, with before I start filming. And obviously, I can't. I don't know why. I feel like my brain is mush. I feel like nothing I'm saying is making any sense. And it's making me flustered. Because I want to sound accurate with my reviews. And so, yeah. Hopefully, I can get through this. If I can't, bear with me, please. All right. So, for June, my theme was just June. And the just part was just the skinny books June. So I read only skinny books. Well, almost only skinny books. There's a couple larger-ish books in this pile. When I say skinny, that means that the books had to be 250 pages or less. It was very easy to read this month, thank goodness. I just kind of flew through some of the books, and I did something that I've done in the past, but I wanted to share it with you guys again. So I have 2 books here as examples. So what I did to make it easier for me to read more quickly was I took turns. Now some people can't do this because as soon as they put a book down, they might leave the world of the book itself, and it might be hard for them to get back into it. Because I'm a mom, picking up a book, every 5 minutes and then putting it down and then having to pick it back up again, I've learned to adapt, so it's easy for me to go back and forth without getting flustered or forgetting what's going on. So, for instance, this is a thicker book. I was reading this, was not on my TBR. This one was on my TBR. So what I did was I would read a chapter of this book, and then I would read a chapter of this book. Now this one is a bad example because this is a collection of short stories. I didn't do it with this one, but I did it with a couple others. What I did, just going back and forth, that helped me escape some of the boredom of the slow bits in a book and allowed me to go into another book to kind of trick my mind into thinking that any action that was in this one is sort of, going into this one. Not really. Do I make any sense? Never. I never make sense. This is why my kids think I'm crazy. Okay, anyways, I just wanted to share, if you are able to pick up books quite easily like I do, if you pick up a book and read a chapter and then put it down and then pick up another book and read a chapter and just continuously do that until they're both done, it goes by really quickly and then you're done with 2 books. Hopefully that made sense. Yeah. Anyways, let's continue. So I did that. I had my theme. I read some books that were on my TBR and then some books that weren't on my TBR. The Zombie Abbey that I was showing you here was not on my TBR. And so it kind of got me to where, I know some people are like, oh, I can't read a TBR because I'm a mood reader, or I tend to have a TBR but then I never read anything on that list. Sometimes I'm the same way. I try to do as many TBR books as I can, but sometimes I'll pick something else up. So this was a good way to read the TBR books and read something that I just wanted to read. Does all that make sense? All right. Okay, so these reviews are in no particular order. All of the Goodreads written reviews will be down below, along with timestamps to every single book, so you can skip around if you're not interested in some and you are interested in others. For my reviews, I don't spoil any of the books. I tend to stick to what you can read on the back or in the inside flap. But everyone has their own opinion on what a spoiler is, so if the book has been spoiled for you, I apologize. Otherwise, let's get on with the reviews. The first one I want to talk about is After You Are Gone, We Are Here Forever by Michelle Gish. Now, I received this from Quark Books. I believe I requested this. I've told you guys this before. I'm a part of their... It's not PR, because I don't know what it's called when you get books for free from a publishing. But I'm on their list, and so they email me and ask me quarterly what books I'm interested in, and then I just check the box, and then they send me those books, and then I read them. So this one came in the mail. Like I said, it's a graphic novel. I showed you a little bit of it when I hauled the book. So this book itself is a post-apocalyptic story about these little purple guys. I'm calling them squishies. The humans, according to these squishies, called them Puramus, P-U-R-A-M-U-S. Puramus? I have no idea. Yeah, so like I said, post-apocalyptic. So there's no humans on Earth anymore. These little alien creatures are left. I don't know if they invaded and then all of the humans died, or if the humans died and then the little creatures came and now they're on Earth. What I didn't understand was there's electricity still. No one's running the electricity. Even the little creatures don't use electricity. So how is it still continuously going? Also, why isn't any of the cities that are now abandoned covered in like plants and ivy and all that other stuff? I mean, I've seen the, you know, the mockumentaries about what would happen to Earth if we all disappeared, and how Earth itself would take back the world, like it would cover all buildings. And none of that happened in this one. So sometimes I can't suspend my disbelief or whatever, however that saying is. I go and I'm like too critical when it comes to like accuracy. I'm thinking there's no way that the buildings would look like that, even though the creatures live there. It's just weird. But I did enjoy the book. This is family friendly. There's no naughtiness. There's no bad words. The little creatures are super cute. They don't do anything. Is there anything that I learned from here? Not really. They're good friends. They like to help each other out. They're super cute. There's two different little villages. This is the king of this village. She's got like flowers. And then he's got these three sons. I don't even know if they're biological or if he just calls them sons. But there's Pot, Bowl, and Box. Those are their names. And you can't even see that. Pot, Bowl, and Box. And they have their little like hats on, which is just so stinking cute. And then there's these weird ones that have like these weird horns on their heads. That doesn't make any sense. But they like live in houses. Look at these little things. Oh my gosh. Okay, this right here, this is a girl, and she's growing her baby on the outside of her, like on her head. And she's all like, oh, I can't go because little Bop Jr.'s about to come off. Look, there's Bop Jr. He's about to slide off her head. That's how they give birth. Like, the baby just falls off. I don't know. It's a silly story about these little fluffy creatures. I'm definitely keeping this. It was fun to read. I liked the little cartoons. Yeah. I mean, basically, that's all I can say about it. It does come out when July 30th. So if you're interested in this graphic novel, You can check it out on July 30th. Thank you again, Quark, for sending it to me. I enjoyed. Next, I want to talk about Extremities. This is by David Lubar. This is a short story collection about death, murder, and revenge. Now, I want to say 90% of the time when I go into a short story collection, I usually hate most of the short stories because there's no beginning or there's no end or it's very weird and I don't understand what's going on. This, I liked practically every single story, which is extremely exciting. This is a YA, and I have to tell you, I want to read more from this author because it was just such a fun read. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I've told you guys this before, but I think 13 is like the magic number for short story collections. So what we have here is, this right here is the transition page. Yeah, so it tells you the title of the story, and then it has this amazing illustration. So if I back up, can you see these are lungs? Yeah, and then here is the head. Wait, there we go. The head's right here, and then the lungs. Now this story is called Running Out of Air. So it makes perfect sense to have a drawing of like a man and some lungs. And then you can see, if I get close, there's that little girl right there. And she's doubled over, panting because she can't breathe. And then those are the rest of her classmates. They're all running. Now, this little short story is about a bunch of girls that's in a gym class. At their high school, there's 2 gym teachers. There's a really mean military style one that, you know, degrades all the girls and says that they're slow and stupid. And then there's one that's super sweet and is very helpful. These poor girls ended up getting the bully gym teacher. And this one girl has asthma, and the teacher is failing her because she says she's weak. Even though she's got a doctor's note, she absolutely can't breathe. The teacher doesn't give a crap. She's getting a D. And she's like, I don't care. You suck. You're stupid. You're little. And I could do whatever I want. No one cares about you. You're just a kid. So it says death, murder, and revenge. So this story is about revenge. What do the girls do to their gym teacher to stick up for their friend who has asthma? And it goes from there. Every single story was delightful. Again, normally I would pick out my favorite stories and tell you about them, but I really did enjoy all of the stories. But so instead of me telling you every single story, I'm just going to show you all the pictures. So we have that one, and then we have Split Decision. There's the picture for that one. That one was pretty cool. And then we have Apparent Motive. Look at that one. It's a skeleton. And the next one is Feelings. Ooh, creepy. I'm not going to show you all of them. I'll show you one more. And then there is Every Drop. This one was really creepy. I really enjoyed this story, Every Drop. Yeah, so if you guys are interested in a collection of short stories that is, you know, they're all really good. I mean, they're not like the best horror. This is a good, light horror read for Halloween. Again, 13 short stories. This was really cheap. I got this off a book outlet, and yeah, I really liked it. There's nothing too like scary, too dirty. This is good to read to any age child if that's what you like to do. I could read these to my kids and they wouldn't be like, Mom, I don't like that. Anyways, I highly, highly, highly recommend. 5 stars for that one. All right, the next book I want to talk about is Zombie Abbey. Now, I did show this when I was doing this kind of thing. So this is a book that I received from Entangled Teen last year. I couldn't remember if I asked for it or if it was unsolicited, but I think Entangled Teen for sending it to me to review. So this is a fluff piece. If you are looking for a light historical fiction family drama set in 1920s England with zombies, then I recommend this book. I gave this 3 stars. It was okay. Again, I get to this point where I'm like really trying to figure out how accurate something is, and then that throws me off with the reading. This is set in 1920s, but it says that the father in this book is having his daughter, he's having these suitors come so that his daughter can pick, you know, a gentleman to marry, because when he dies, then she won't have any property. And I could have sworn that women were able to have property by this time. Now, in England, in 1918, some women were able to vote. When I say some, that was probably just the white women were allowed to vote, and then other, like, minorities were allowed to vote after that. I think it was 1926 when they were allowed to vote after that. But again, I didn't want to research, you know, I'm trying to read. So I don't know if this is accurate or not. In 1920, in England, let me know, those that are my subscribers and friends that live overseas, if you were allowed to have property in 1920, let me know. Because while reading this, it seemed like it should be set in Jane Austen's time, in like the Georgian era. It just seemed like it was out of place, like 1920s is too modern. So what we have here is a house in England somewhere. It's called Porthampton Abbey, and there is the father, who's Martin Clark, his wife Fidelia, and their 3 daughters, Catherine, Grace, and Elizabeth. Like I said, the dad has invited 3 eligible bachelors to the house to stay over. There's Mary, a portly businessman who's a little bit too old for Catherine. And then we have the Duke. I don't know what his first name is, but he's a Duke. And then there's cousin Benedict, who is going to inherit the estate once the father passes away. So according to, you know, how things work out, if Catherine wanted to stay in her home, cousin Benedict would be the perfect choice. But Catherine doesn't really want to marry anybody, and she's not interested. When I say this is a family drama, it really is. We have the father who thinks he knows everything, but he's kind of misguided. The wife, where the father says, I just want you to look beautiful and be happy, so I don't want you to do anything. Don't try to do anything. Don't be smart. Don't do anything. Just be beautiful and happy. And so they have an entire household that's run by maids and cooks and a butler, and they have people that take care of their horses. And this lord of Porthampton Abbey has, he's in charge of all of these farmers that live on the outskirts of his estate, and then beyond the farmers is the village itself. Again, I didn't think in 1920s that there was a head person of a large house who also owned farmers. Like, does he own the farmers? Is there like some kind of cut where the farmers give him vegetables, and then does he like in turn protect them in some way? I don't know how it works, but again, I thought that in 1920s that wasn't how things worked anymore. But maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong since I didn't research any of this. So the entire family is on a walk, because that's what they did back then. They went for a walk, and the girls decided that they wanted to shoot birds or what have you. And so Catherine is showing off and she's shooting, and then Elizabeth decides she wants to shoot too. She's not good at it, but she tries it anyway, and she ends up being a pretty good shot. When all of a sudden, out of the bushes, a zombie, and I'm saying this because they are zombies, but the people don't know what they are. They never even call them zombies in the book. But the people come out, like the dead man comes out, and Elizabeth has to kill him in order to save her sister from being eaten. Now, with that being said, the father who saw this happening says, oh, well, this is an unpleasant thing that happened. I'm going to ignore the fact that it happened. And I know people do this in real life, but it drove me crazy. And then it happened again and again. And again, all of the family members are like, it can't possibly be that bad. I mean, yeah, 1 or 2 people are walking around and we know that they're completely dead and they're trying to eat us, but, you know, we're in our house. It's totally fine. We don't need to worry about these things. And the youngest daughters are like, okay, we need to start working on fixing this, trying to, you know, help the people, the farmers that, you know, ask us for protection. Like, we need to go about helping them. So with all that being said, I gave it 3 stars because it was entertaining in a way, but the family just drove me crazy with all of their, oh, nothing's happening, let's get on with our life, we'll do whatever. Like the dad, he's all, nothing's gonna stop me from going on my walk. That's what I do. I always go on my walk on this day at this time. I can't have my life ruined and messed up because of maybe I might get eaten by some random person. Yeah, if there's zombies outside, maybe you shouldn't go outside. This was a Scully moment. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you know how Scully on X-Files knows aliens exist, but she's always saying, oh, there must be a better explanation. It can't possibly be aliens. This is the entire time I'm reading this, I'm thinking, oh my God, these people are stupid. They know that these zombies exist. They almost got eaten, but let's pretend it's something else. Maybe they're just sick. No. So I'm not keeping this book, so if you guys are interested, it's going in the trade away pile because I won't be rereading this. It was fun, and that's good enough for me. The next book I want to talk about is A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, the poetry of Mr. Rogers, lyrics by Fred Rogers, which is Mr. Rogers, and illustrations by Luke Flowers. Now, this book is extremely cute. It's very good to read it to kids between like 4 and, I don't know, 10. Like all of, well, okay, 10's a little old. Maybe like from kindergarten through 3rd grade. Like 4 to 9, 4 to 8, something like that. The reason why I say that is because these poems are kind of like short stories that we tend to talk to children about because it helps validate their feelings. A lot of these poems have to do with feelings. All of these poems have to do with feelings. I'm lying. All of them. So it's about either being sad or mad or happy or, you know, you can do this or you can do that. Don't ever give up. Good things that everyone should know. But because I'm almost 40, reading these made me want to throw up. Because at a certain point, you just become bitter. You're like, these poems and songs are not going to help my life. I'm still stressed out. But I did tab my favorites. I think there's like 40 or so little poems in here. And if you guys did not hear my rant on poems in a previous video, I hate modern poetry. If it doesn't rhyme, I don't want to read it. Why, you may ask? Do I not like modern poetry? Why does everything have to rhyme? Because then I don't know how to read it. If I'm just reading it, then I feel like I'm just reading someone's thoughts and there's no rhyme or reason to it. When you read a song, it sounds stupid until you put the melody to it and then you're like, oh, I know how this goes now. Does it make sense? Am I making any sense? For those that don't like poetry, I'm sure I'm getting to. You're like, yeah, I get it. For those that really like poetry, you might be thinking, well, that's kind of shallow of you not to like poetry just because it doesn't rhyme. Everyone has their own opinion. I hate modern dance. I hate modern poetry. Everything needs to have some kind of, you know, mastery. Please. The 40-ish poem/lyrics in this book. I've tabbed 5. I'm going to read you the first stanza of each story. And like I said, these are all about feelings. So the first one is called, What Do You Do with the Mad That You Feel? Now, this is a perfect example of my 12-year-old, Keanu. This is what he looks like when he doesn't get his way. He tells me all the time, I don't like that word. If I tell him no, that's not nice to say to me, Mom. Don't tell me no. You can't say that. I'm like, yeah, I can. And if you aren't supposed to do something, then I'm going to tell you no. But this is a nice little poem song for him. What do you do with the mad that you feel? When you feel so mad you could bite. When the whole wide world seems oh so wrong, and nothing you do seems very right. He does that a lot too when he gets in trouble. I can't do anything right. Well, you can. You're just choosing poorly. You're not making the right decisions. So that matches my son. Next is, I'd like to be like Mom and Dad. This is more my style of a poem. So this is like the kids reading this to me, and it made me feel nice. I'd like to be just like my mom. She's loving and she's bright. Why, thank you. She knows just how to care for me and works to make things right. Aw. So perfect. I like that one. Next we have Sometimes Isn't Always. Again, another one for my Keanu, because he tends to think if we do something once, now it's routine. And that's not the case. He also hates doing lots of things and tells me, I hate homework. I hate brushing my hair. I hate going to bed. It's like, be quiet. So, first stanza. Sometimes I don't feel like combing my hair. I don't feel like washing my face sometimes. Sometimes I don't feel like saying okay. But sometimes isn't always. When I say sometimes isn't always, again, that's like him trying to create a routine where there is none. I took you to the pool today. That doesn't mean I take you to the pool every day or every Monday. Stop. So sometimes isn't always. Sometimes we go to the pool, but not always. Next I have It Hurts to Be Lonely. Now this is dedicated to my 14-year-old who has emotions galore, too much emotions. His hormones are running rampant and he's always emo. He thinks that, again, he can't do anything right and he's bored and he doesn't want to do anything with us anymore now that he's going into high school. It hurts to be lonely. It hurts so much to be lonely and there's no one else around. There's no one who really cares for me. Nowhere to be found. I sang that to him in an Eeyore voice. It made him laugh. The last song / poem I want to talk about is the ending or the outro to Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. We all know this song if we grew up on Mr. Rogers. Although this one is a little bit different than the one you hear on the TV show. So it says, it's such a good feeling to know you're alive. It's such a happy feeling you're growing inside. And when you wake up, ready to say, I think I'll make a snappy new day. It's such a good feeling, a very good feeling. The feeling you know you're alive. I hate that line. You're alive. No duh, I'm watching this TV show or reading this book. Of course I'm alive. I'm not dead. That doesn't make any sense. Regardless, oh, sheesh, there's 75 beloved songs, not 40-ish, 75, that's a lot. I'm keeping this book to put on my kids' shelves because, you know, the songs are cute, the pictures are cute. It's not written for me, absolutely not for me. I think all of the poems are lame, but again, it's not for me, it's for children, and it helps, like I said, make their feelings, like, what is it called? Validated. that it's okay to have feelings. All right, the next book I read was Topsiders by Scott Tyson. Now, I was really excited for this book, and I'm not keeping this book either, and I'm really bummed about it. I believe I gave this one also 3 stars. It's a haunted house book, but the haunting isn't really a haunting. It's kind of, I don't know what you would call it. Almost like Alien. So it's about these 2 families. Now, I didn't have like family friends growing up that always came over. That's something that I read about or see on TV all the time, but that didn't happen in my family, so it's kind of foreign. But so there's this family that has 2 kids, and then there's another family that has 2 kids, and then these 2 families get together every holiday and they spend their time together. And now the kids are grown, and they've been doing it since the kids were babies. So now the kids are all in their teens. And one night, the youngest boy goes to get some water because he can't sleep. And when he gets to the kitchen, he notices that all the adults are in there. And so he hides in kind of like this broom closet. And he overhears the adults talking about how they want to break into this abandoned house. And the teen's father is completely against it because, you know, he's kind of a coward and he doesn't want to go. And everyone's trying to egg him on, like, come on, don't be a wuss. You can go. It'll be fine. Nobody lives there. No one will know that we're doing it. And so the youngest boy goes back downstairs and wakes up his brother, and he's like, oh my gosh, Mom and Dad are gonna like go break into this house, and they're talking about going tomorrow night, yada yada. Brother's like, shut up, that's never gonna happen. Our parents aren't like that. They wouldn't do that. And so everything that the parents plan to do the next night, they do in the morning time. So the kids are all like confused because, you know, the youngest son thought that it was going to happen at nighttime. The older brother's like, you know, maybe they just went to the store or something, but then hours later, no parents have come back yet. And so the 2 boys end up getting the other family's teen daughter to drive them to the closest lake where they think that the parents took a boat to get to this abandoned house. And that's where the story, you know, goes from there. So the kids are looking for the parents. The parents are walking around this abandoned house. People are disappearing. There's some craziness going on underneath the house itself. Not like just in a basement. I'm talking about under the earth. Like there is this cavern with these creatures, and it kind of reminded me a little bit of Jack Ketchum's book that I have given away. I don't remember the title. I'll put it here. This is the Jack Ketchum book that I'm talking about. And in this book, some women are captured and the cannibals are doing something to them. And that's what it reminded me of in this book. You know, some of the women are captured and there's things going on that are happening to them. And so, yeah, it wasn't scary. I didn't like it. I'm giving this away too. I can't remember what I gave this. Maybe 3 stars. It just wasn't good. It wasn't good. I didn't like it. I liked the fact that our chapters have like that shadow or the reflection. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, like I said, it wasn't scary. The boy was kind of dumb. There's a little bit of cussing in here. Not enough to like be offensive. There's like maybe 3 Fs in the whole book, but I didn't really like that book. All right, which is a bummer because I was really looking forward to that one. Next, I have The Missing Girl by Norma Fox Mazer. Now, I had this on my to-be-read list several times. In the past, I decided I was going to read this in my Mystery May, and I had rolled it over for June. Now, this wasn't that good either, which is a bummer drag. So it's about this man who is a pedophile, and he's watching these 5 sisters, And the 5 sisters live in kind of a poorish family. You know, the mom and dad are trying to make ends meet. The dad just got hurt, and so he can't work, so they're really trying to pinch pennies. And we have the youngest is 12 and the oldest is 17. There's one sister who might have autism or some other kind of mental handicap. But there you go. So all the girls go to school together. I can't even, there's Beauty, Autumn. There's Fancy, but she calls herself Stevie instead. There's Mim, and then another, I don't know what the other girl's name is. Whatever. So Beauty, the oldest, really wants to get out of the house. She doesn't want to live in her little small town anymore. She wants to break free after she graduates. And then there's Autumn, who no one pays attention to her. She's the youngest. Although she is the favorite of the mom because, she's the baby of the family. Yeah, and then there's just this pedophile that is watching these girls every single day, and he can't decide which one is his favorite. And then one day, I hated this book. I hated this book. This is in different POVs, so sometimes you have the POV of a certain sister, but sometimes it starts off in second person, I think, or maybe third person, and then but then it starts, it's so random, like the POV changes in the middle of the paragraph, or like in the middle of the chapter, you know what I mean? So like it'll start off with, this is what you feel like, but then Beauty starts talking in the I form, in the first person. I was so confused. So then the main thing is the missing girl. So there is a missing girl, and I'm gonna give one spoiler. Okay, our missing girl is 100, okay, and 36 pounds. She's 5'1" and 136 pounds. Doesn't matter what her age is. That is me, okay? I'm almost 5'1". I'm 136 pounds. If someone attacked me, you better believe I would kick the crap out of them, especially since our pedophile's an old man. Why is this girl allowing this to happen? Like, it really frustrated me. Like, I was thinking that this whole time that the girl that got taken was like small and pocket-sized and easily like maneuverable. No. If a big strong man tried to come and pick me up, maybe. But this is an old man. And so it didn't make any sense. And she didn't even try to fight back, which just drives me crazy. It's like, I don't care how old you are. You don't let yourself be taken. I don't care if I have to die. I would rather die than allow someone to take advantage of me. You die a warrior. You don't let anything happen to you. Oh my gosh. Anyways, again, not keeping this one. I think I gave this 2 stars, 3 stars because I was being generous. 2.5, I don't know. Because I normally look all this up and I didn't today. I'll leave all the stars underneath the books. Didn't like that one. Next, I read The Bedwetter by Lee Allen Howard, Journal of a Budding Psychopath. Now, this was sent to me by the author. Thank you very much. Look at that. He says, thanks for your review, Lee. Did you know that my middle name is Lee? And it's spelt like this. Okay, so this one was really, really interesting. I'm so happy that the author reached out and asked if I wanted to read this book because it was really good. I really liked it. So we have this boy who has an actual problem with wetting the bed. Like, it's not like, you know, he's scared of monsters and so he wets the bed because he doesn't want to go to the bathroom. It's he physically cannot wake up in the middle of the night and so he pees the bed. Does that make sense? And his mom hated this. She hated the fact that he would pee his bed. And so every time he peed his bed, she would have her husband shave his head. Now, this devastated the kid because he really, really liked his hair. And so he hated his mom growing up, and then he started becoming more and more psycho. Like, he started hurting animals, and then now he's an adult. He's 26, 27, I can't remember. He's trying to hold down a job. He's living with his sister, but like, his crazy's starting to come back out. And every time he knows that he's starting to get flustered and the crazy's coming if he pees the bed. And he hasn't peed the bed in years. And he pees the bed at the beginning of the book and you're like, oh no, what's going to happen? And then he just decides to let the crazy fly. And he's just like gung-ho with the crazy. And you're thinking, oh my gosh. Now, if you have read American Psycho, or anything else like that that has like really graphic scenes, like disgusting scenes. This is written, I was talking to my husband about it, and he said that's something that, and my husband's not psycho, but you know when like people have really, really bad thoughts, but they would never say those kinds of thoughts out loud because it's either way too graphic, way too vulgar, super offensive, just absolutely wrong in every possible way. This book is written like that. Every possible, terrible, offensive, vulgar thing that you could think of is how this author wrote the character. The character has a really bad time. It's a really bad time. So if you don't like graphic sexual scenes or cussing or just very offensive, vulgar language, you're not going to like this book. I thought it was brilliant. I mean, besides all of that, it was just well written. Like, I was astonished. Like, there was a lot of times I was like, oh, I can't believe he wrote that. I can't believe this is in the book. Oh my gosh. I was reading all of these books out loud to my son, and the very first paragraph, which I can't even read on here, and I don't even get money for my videos, but if I were to read this and I did get money, I would be demonetized immediately. I can't even read it. I can't even read it because it's so offensive. The first paragraph, so offensive. But I really enjoyed this book. I think I gave it a 4-star. So thank you so much, Lee, for sending me this book. I definitely enjoyed it. Keeping that one. Next I have Pen Pal here by Dathan Arrowbach. I was told to read this ages ago. I think Keely told me to read it. I'll leave Keely's channel link down below. She's from A Bibliophile's Journey. She hasn't had a video in a while, but she does like horror and a lot of indie stuff. So I guess this was like a book that needed some kind of like helping to write, and there was like people were paying money to get this published. I don't know what that's called. Oh, Kickstarter. There was a Kickstarter for this book. I have such a high tolerance for horror that this wasn't scary to me. It was creepy in a ooh, scary kind of way, like that, but not like, I need to put this down. I hate it. I can't read it. And so I'm on the fence. I'll keep it for now, but I would rather, you know, share this with somebody else who would enjoy it more. It's about a boy who plays in the forest. Him and his friend. His friend lives on the other side of the forest. like this. So like this is, you know, our main character's house, and this is his friend's house, and there's a forest in between. And they spend an entire summer trying to figure out how to get to each other, how long it would take to get to each other. And they're making like a map and stuff, which I thought was really cute. I really liked that part of the story. And then one night, our main character finds himself in the woods. Like, as like he sleptwalked. Sleptwalked? That's not even the right tense. He was sleeping, and then he found himself in the middle of the forest. Like, he doesn't understand how he got there. He's got no shoes on. He's surrounded by thorns. He just magically appeared in the forest. And it freaks him out. And so, but that's not the freaky part of the book. The freaky part is when our main character was in kindergarten, they decided to do a balloon, you know, experiment where they had like a little letter and they attached it to a balloon, and they have the return address so that way the balloon can fly off, and then whoever gets the balloon, you know, sends a letter back with a picture of like where they live. And the kids are thinking that this is a good communities project, you know, because then they get to meet their neighbors and so forth. But our main character keeps getting random pictures, just weird blurry pictures. There's like part of a sidewalk, and so it looks like the person who's taking the pictures doesn't know how to use a camera. And then it gets creepier and creepier and creepier. And that's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to ruin the book for anybody. But it has to do with creepy pictures. There's no creepy pictures in here, which would have been awesome. But it's about creepy pictures and about a kid and his best friend. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say. So, look at the back of this book says, his urination led to ruination. That's funny. Anyways, so it was okay. If you think horror in general is really scary, then definitely pick up this book. I think I gave it a 3.5 star. I'll keep it for now. Next, I reread Insanity by Cameron Jace. This is a retelling of Alice in Wonderland. It's kind of a no-brainer. I keep thinking, wouldn't it be nice if I just had a smaller nose? I might look like her. Anyways, I think she's really pretty. So, this is fun. I read this to my children. I read the original Alice, and then I read Through the Looking Glass to them, and then I decided I'd read a retelling to them. Now, this isn't too bad to read to kids, because there's no, like, I always think if there's cursing or sex in a book, then it's not appropriate for children. I never think about, like, blood and gore, because I grew up on blood and gore, and I don't care. So, but to each their own. I mean, some parents don't want their kids, you know, watching or knowing anything about that. In my house, I don't care. And my older son is very good about being self-aware, like knowing what he likes and doesn't like. So he won't watch movies that are very overly violent with lots of blood and gore. But in reading, he doesn't really mind so much because it's not a visual. So anyways, Alice is in an asylum, and she meets the caterpillar, but his name is Caterpillar, and he is a serial killer who used to be a professor at Oxford. And he takes Alice out of the asylum to go and try to find the Cheshire Cat, who is killing little girls. So the Cheshire is a serial killer, and they're trying to find clues to figure out where he's at, so that way they can capture him or save the girls that he is kidnapping and murdering. I really, really enjoyed this. I am currently supposed to read the 4th book, but my son really wants me to continue with the series, so I think I'll just read 2 and then 3 again, and then start fresh with them and read 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 with my children. But he really enjoyed this. I liked it. I gave it 5 stars again. Next, I read The Detour by S.A. Bodine. Again, another book that was just okay, which made me sad. I think I gave this 3 stars as well. So this is about a girl who is an author. Now, she started writing when she was 15. She got really serious after going to like a reading retreat camp or something for new writers. But she's very pompous about it. Now that she has, you know, 3-book, like her trilogy has come out. It's a fantasy about 2 children who have to save their mom from like a jewel, like all these different jewels, like the mom's trapped in a jewel, which reminded me of Amulet, the graphic novel for middle grade. I read Amulet a while back. There's 8 in the graphic novel series. It's just funny because this is about a girl who became an author, but there's this person who wrote a book that was similar to her, and then all of the people on her social media like slammed this other author for having a book that was similar to hers. But Amulet is similar to this, to the book that this girl wrote. So you can't say that. Each person writes a topic differently. If you said, write a story with 2 kids who have to save their mom from a jewel, everybody could write a different story. Yeah, those little parts, those key words are in there that are going to be the same, but that doesn't mean the entire book is the same. And so our main girl didn't really care that this other person wrote a book that was similar, but her audience did, her like fans, and so they really hurt this person. But our main character never sued. That's not the point of the story, though. I just wanted to bring that up. That it's funny that when I was reading this, I thought of Amulet. Okay, so our main character is now rich and famous, and she already came from a kind of a wealthy family, so it's not like she needed the money, but now she has it and she likes it. She also likes the fame. She likes going to signings and like little book tours and stuff like that. So she's on her way to a retreat where she has to do some book signings and then do some kind of talks and then like read some of her book or whatever to an audience. And on her way to this retreat, she gets in a car accident, and then this kind of turns into like a misery kind of thing by Stephen King. And she even says that in the first chapter. She goes, God, it feels like I'm in a Stephen King novel, like this is misery. Because she gets kidnapped by a mom and her daughter who happen to live near the accident, and they won't let her go. And she doesn't understand why they're keeping her captive, and she's trying to figure out how to escape. And it's funny because she's thinking of all the things that you hear in books and movies on things not to do, and so she's trying to talk herself like, I can't escape quick enough, or I have to make sure I plan this out, because you know, everybody in the movies, the first time they see an open door, they just run for it, but they don't realize that the person's on the other end and they're going to get hurt. So it's funny that she has that on the back of her mind, but then, you know, when push comes to shove, she keeps doing the wrong things. Yeah. And then the book goes on and on and on. It was a little repetitious, repetitious is the right word. Like, it just seemed like it was Groundhog's Day. Like, come on, are you going to escape? Are they going to let you out? What is happening? And then the ending was kind of bizarre because it didn't make any sense. Maybe it did. I don't know. Did our character grow? A little bit. She grew a little bit, but not enough to impress me with this book. So again, another book that I will be giving away. This was like a 3.5. It was all right. The last book was my favorite book of the entire month, and that is Bull by David Elliott. The Myth of the Minotaur, that's Bull. Now, I didn't know about the story of the Minotaur. I know a little bit of Greek mythology because I learned it in the 7th grade, but it was never interesting enough for me growing up for me to like read a lot of the stories. But after reading this, I definitely want to do that. So I'm just going to read you the prologue, because when I talk about how I hate modern poetry, This is modern poetry, but in an old-fashioned way, meaning it has modern speak, it's got cursing in it, it's got slang, it's got things that we see today, but it's in a rhyme, and that is the best. Like, that's what I want. So the prologue says, there beneath the palace walls, the monster rages, foams and balls, calling out again and again, mother, mother. No other sound but the scrape of horn on stone, the grinding crunch of human bone under calloused human foot. My favorite character is Poseidon, because the first sentence he goes, what up, bitches? Am I right or am I right? That bum Minos deserved what he got. I mean, I may be a god, but I'm not unreasonable. And when I am, so what? Like I said, I'm a god. Reason's got nothing to do with it. He's got such a cocky attitude. I absolutely love Poseidon, oh my goodness sakes. And then the rest is history. 5 stars, 5 minotaurs. I just absolutely loved this book. Asteron is the Minotaur's name, so 5 Asterons. His mom really loved a bull. If you don't know anything about the Minotaur, Poseidon gave a bull as a wedding gift. He was supposed to get it back, but the wife wanted to keep it, and so the wife has a baby with the bull. And so the Minotaur is now here, and the dad hates the Minotaur because he knows it's not his kid. He's an abomination. And yeah, absolutely loved. Oh my gosh, 5 stars. So that was all of the books. This is such a long video. That was all the books I read in the month of June. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I read 11 books in June. Also started and almost finished a whole bunch. So I did start 4 Past Midnight. This is the Stephen King 2019 read-along pick for the month of June. I read all of the Langoliers. I will be reading The Secret Window, hopefully tonight. There's 4 novellas in this book. That's why it's so fat. Yeah, 4 longer stories. Not enough to make a whole story, but long enough. I'm just going to hold up my Kindle, but I have the Oddmire here from William Ritter. It's his new middle grade book. I'm holding this, but there should be the Oddmire picture on top of my Kindle. This was sent to me by the publisher, and I'm on the book tour right now, so I will be doing a review on the 10th of July, I believe. So look out for that. I really, really like this story. It's super cute. Oh, by the way, I'm 64% done with this, so I'm almost done. And then I did start The Bell Witch a couple days ago, but then I put it down so I could pick up another book, just because this is nonfiction and it doesn't have any chapters. We all know how much I hate that. There's no chapters in here, so I don't know when to stop. And then I have the Everafter. Now, this is by Amy Huntley. I currently have read this much. I have this much more to go. I picked this one up instead of The Bell Witch. This one has chapters, and it's actually really good. I keep going back and forth because I don't know what is going on, but so far, so good. I want to definitely finish it and figure out how then I like the beginning. Does that make sense? Like, the beginning seems okay, but once I understand the ending, I wonder if I'll still like the beginning. So this is definitely going to be rolled over into July. I'm hoping to finish it in the next day or two. And then I am still currently reading The Alienist. I picked this up in May, and you see that? I literally have that many pages, like 30 more pages to read. I am on the 3rd to last CD. There's 17 CDs total, and I think I'm on CD 15. So this will be done in the next couple of days as well. I was hoping to finish it last night, but then I went to bed at 11. So there's that. Those are all the books that I read or started in June. Let me know down below what you read. Apologize for this longish video. Would you rather in the future me break these up into like only a couple reviews at a time, like maybe a weekly review or parts, or do you like having just one whole video dedicated to all the books that I read in that month? Most of the time it's not this long, but since I did read a ton in June, it got longer. I do apologize. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below if you've read any of these books. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week, and I will talk to you soon.